We couldn't be more appreciative to everyone who participated and who's engaged with us during this phase. We're hard at work now on the next milestone release, which is codenamed Frigate. Frigate is our upcoming release where we will be sharing for the first time ever a work in progress sneak peek version of our third faction. I'm not going to give any spoilers now.
Woo! Third faction in a couple of weeks.
But it has a lot of exciting new mechanics, new gameplay involved with it, and we're really eager to get it in your hands. In addition, we have a bunch of other really exciting changes in store, and I'd like to give you a glimpse of what we've been working so hard on. First up.
So, I'm really curious. I'm really curious because so far I thought it's kind of nice, but there's nothing. Where's the big selling factor? Where's the big innovation? That has been the problem.
Up. Creep camps have been reworked into capture points.
Capture point contested.
Players are able to maintain control over resource camps to receive passive benefits. And there's a new energy camp where you can restore your unit's energy.
Which
Capture
is
point
mana.
icons have also been updated, and team colors now display on the mini-map as well as in the game space. Matchmaking has also been up.
All right. This is different. So how it worked before is there was a creep camp, usually displayed by a chicken or a deer or whatever. And whoever gets the last hit on that creep guarding that camp gets resources. And then a little ball drops that gives you a health boost, a speed boost, etc. Now you gotta capture these points. This is pretty much exactly what Zero Space is doing. This is also very similar to Dawn of War from early 2000s. So this is not something crazy new. I'm not too sure if I like it that way. It's of course less deterministic. So it's not like you click once and then you get the buff for a certain amount of time, so it can be contested. I think points being able to be contested is in general a very good thing. This should also lead to more macro, I guess, more split army sizes. Cheers. Thank you, Gaming Brewer. At the same time. But I feel like it is probably for the better, yet nothing groundbreaking. And I gotta say, it kind of keeps on repeating that Stormgate simply copies Zero Space. This is like the third thing I can think about. Some of that are no-brainers, but Zero Space had the top bar ability. 6 weeks later, Stormgate comes in with the top bar ability. Stormgate holds a $10,000 tournament. A couple of weeks later, Stormgate has a $10,000 tournament. And now they have contested creep camps that Zero Space has had since the first version. It's like, it's getting a little obvious now, brothers and sisters, and everyone in between, of course.
To use a randomized map pool. We have 2 new maps that are being introduced in Frigate.
So I think this should be standard, and it is standard. So if you queue, before there was one map for like a week, and then the next week there was a different map. I think in the beginning of a game, this is very positive to just help people develop a certain play style and develop a certain way to play a map. But now after like half a year, it got very redundant and it's also kind of boring. And the maps that exist are kind of figured out. So implementing a bigger variety on maps is good. By the way, does this minimap look updated or is that just drawn? Might just be drawn.
Starting with Lost Hope, which features 4 starting positions and random spawn locations in versus games. Another
it's a bit Lost Temple-y. But It's kind of a swastika, isn't it? Just like, you know, kind of twisted. I would be kind of careful with symbols like this. But maybe that's just me. You don't see the map. Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah. Really? I wonder if it's cross spawn. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if not. But yeah, dear people of oh my god, Stormgate. Yeah, dear people of Frost Giant, as a German, please change that. Thin ice? Yep. We know you are German, but don't look for symbols where they're not. But they're there! There! It's not cross-spawn as far as I'm aware. It's going to be random. That's a big mistake. It's a noob mistake, really. You don't think it's a point of critique? You don't think a swastika is a point of critique? Holy fuck, maybe you should get out of here, dude.
Starting positions and random spawn locations in versus games. Another new versus map, Isle of Dread. This map represents our first steps into water mechanics in Stormgate. Right now, there is shallow and deep water, each with their own pathing. The water material also has some automated shoreline waves and underwater caustic effects.
This adds a lot to the look and feel. True, I didn't even think about it. We did not have water on the maps just yet. I got a feeling that water is always a bit difficult because of like reflections and stuff. Yeah, this adds.
This terrain feature is going to undergo ongoing development and be expanded more in the future. And with this water feature and the codename Frigate, I just want to be clear, we're not including naval units directly in Stormgate, but we have developed our editor and this terrain feature with an eye towards the community being able to support this in the future. So I can't wait to get it in your hands and see what mod makers do with naval units in the future.
I think this is the perfect way to handle it. Naval units are... I mean, if someone comes up with a great way to implement naval units, then yeah, let's go. But it is very limited just because it needs water. And it's super clunky so far to maneuver. Maybe because it never got the polish that other units got. But maybe just leave it out. But give people for customing it. I think that's good.
Also including a new 3-player co-op map called Abyssal Gates. In this map, you must stop the Lord of the Abyss from entering our world by destroying his 5 abyssal gates.
The skies will blacken with birds of metal.
There are also a handful
It's so 2000 and I love it.
Of experimental maps added for custom lobbies. This includes some 2 versus 2 maps for the first time. We'd love to get your feedback on them.
So, yeah, it's kind of a classic RTS trope, right? Destroy this building. Like, yeah, it's a foundation, I guess. I'm not ultra hyped about it. but you gotta display different objectives. Destroy a base, destroy a building, etc., etc. Fits thematically. It's not a big deal, I think. Depending on how it plays, of course.
For the first time. We'd love to get your feedback on them. For the Infernals, we're excited to showcase the Shadowflyer unit model and animations, which have been updated in Frigate.
Yo! New Shadowflyer model, hey? That's basically the Bat Rider. So it's a flying unit that explodes into other flying units. I like that model. It's pretty much exactly what I envisioned when I saw the base of this model. It's a little disgusting, which fits the demon theme. It's also kind of cute, which fits the Stormgate theme. I would say they did a very good job on this. Also, the flapping, I like it.
Case the Shadowflyer unit model and animations, which have been updated in Frigate. Shadowflyer gameplay has also been adjusted to be less volatile. Its explosion now applies a stacking armor debuff.
Visibility seems good, as they are a little thicker than before. It's not like an annoying fruit fly flying around.
Explosion now applies a stacking armor debuff that makes air units vulnerable to attacks for a short time.
AoE Fairy Fire, huh? Interesting. I don't think it's necessarily bad. Makes them even better. But it depends on balance, of course. Like how expensive are they, etc. It's not necessarily comparable with the Bat Rider, because the big thing about Bat Riders is you don't get XP. You get XP while the opponent does not get XP. So it's not 1-to-1. It's more like a Scourge of StarCraft. So yeah, it depends on balance.
Polymorph on UB2W1.
Meh. Thank you, Wonderbron.
Also just added a new unit, the Hexen.
Yo!
One Infernal caster. In Versus games, the Hexen is the Infernal's free starting unit.
I shall go.
As part of this, the Infest mechanic has been removed from the gauntlet.
So the render is cool. It's little... It's kind of straight out of an anime, right? It's a buffed witch doctor. Okay, like a bulked witch doctor. Really like the sickle.
The Hexen.
Yeah, sickle is sick. That faction definitely needed casters. So it's good they have casters now, apparently. And tier 1, which is interesting. I really like the model. I really like the design. So, are they too similar to a Gaunt?
A tier 1 Infernal caster. In Versus games, the Hexen is the Infernal's free starting unit.
I shall go.
As part of this,
That's a Gaunt. So, they also have a sickle. They're also a little hunched. Aye.
Infest mechanic has been removed from the Gaunt, and the Hexen steps in to apply Infest in a much more controlled manner with its abilities. First up, Skull of Shedda, a multi-purpose spell that allows players to scout the map and apply single-target Infest. Venom Trap. Use this to place concealed...
That's a placeholder, obviously. Okay, so they have the more of the size of a brood. So Gaunts are way smaller. And I think the stick is different because it goes vertically instead of the Gaunt sickle.
Sealed mines that apply AoE damage and Infest. Miasma. Channel a zone control.
Yo, love that animation.
Miasma. Channel a zone control AoE ability that boosts infest damage over time. For Vanguard, the
Wait,
X
what's
damage over time.
that? Okay. So here's a gaunt. Do you see that? Yeah, here's a gaunt. And here's a Hexen.
Channel a zone control AoE ability that boosts infest damage over time.
Yeah, okay, cool. So the gaunt has these horn helmet things. The Hexen doesn't. And the size is different. Okay, I was worried that it would be looking similar, but it's not.
For Vanguard, the EXO is being reimagined. During development, the EXO has evolved from a basic gunner to becoming a more powerful tier 1.5 unit. So the EXO's appearance is due for an upgrade to better match its new power.
Oh, thank you.
The EXO will have a more pronounced exoskeleton, a higher tech feel, as well as a larger reinforced arm to hold its powerful weapon.
Thank you. The big issue was that Lancers, when they lance, it looked exactly like this gun from above. So I really hope they change that now. And I think this antenna helps with that a lot.
The new EXO model isn't quite ready for game time yet, but we're excited to share our progress on it. On the sound front, we've been recording a ton of new sound effects and voiceover lines. Here are a few samples.
Waiting on you, walking tall, spraying free. This round's on me.
Watch out, I'm coming. Belly down. Where's the action? Undeploy it. Dig it in. Speak up. Standing up. Let's
Yeah, that
get
works.
to it. I'll be subtle. I'm good at subtle.
Taking position. High speed pass. Get me in there. Listen, I come from a long line of pilots. Hot air balloon pilots, mostly.
Fits. It adds more variety. It got really repetitive with very little voice line involved. Yeah.
Give me them orders.
Out of our way. Run them down. Hasius.
Gotta say, a lot of people always comment on sound. I'm not a huge sound guy.
The strand is spun.
Certainly an upgrade.
Patience. I am still.
So shifting gears and looking ahead to the future, this team is working really hard to deliver the best possible RTS game experience for you. And I want to say thank you for you being a part of this journey with us. Your feedback has already helped shape Stormgate and make it a better game than it would have been without you being a part of it. I'm excited to be able to share more with you as we move ahead. There are a lot of aspects of the game that we haven't been able to talk about just yet, and I'm looking forward to being able to peel back the curtains on development and share some of these super secret things with you. In particular, we've been hard at work on the campaigns and some other aspects of the game that we've made great progress on, and we'll be talking more in the future, and I'm super excited about. I'd like to end on a note of gratitude for you, the community, whether you have participated in the Kickstarter or Next Fest or have been a part of any of our playtests or our online communities. Your presence and your engagement with us makes a huge difference. We could not be doing what we're doing without you, and literally this game would not be in existence now if it were not for the support of you. So thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for everybody at Frost Giant. We really appreciate you, and we can't wait to share the next steps of this journey with you and see where it goes.
All right. First of all, good video. Way better than their first videos. You remember that first gameplay video, I think, where like 4 screens were happening at the same time. You didn't even know where to look. Here, information is just transported a lot better. It looks a lot better. Like, focus on this thing. This is the name. This is what it does. Easy. Visual, name, description. Boom. Simple, effective, extra information displayed via audio.
Torrent T2, that is exciting, smiley face.
It is, Prince Jon Snow. It is. Thank you for the sub. So that's a big step up compared to like a year ago. I think visuals like this terrain, as they said, will still be updated. We get more variety into the game. The top bar looks a bit better, I think. So, yo. Cool. I'll be playing a lot, of course, once this version comes out. Still has a lot of flaws, but it's always cool to see the progress from one version to another. It's yet again nothing groundbreaking, nothing super innovative. They will implement a 2-on-2 map, which is to me fairly interesting because they never mentioned 2-on-2 before. Like, not even as an implemented game mode. They always said 1-on-1, 3-player co-op versus AI, and 3v3 with hero units. They never so far talked about 2-on-2. So, while I think this won't be a crazy successful mode, because it never is, in an RTS, it's for me also a thing you have to have. So the fact that they are implementing this is, I guess, good. And then I'm really curious what the third faction is, of course. We've not, seen nothing about that. That will be the big reveal in 2 weeks or so. So, yeah. Nothing too crazy. Nothing for me as a Warcraft fan that gets me ultra hyped. But while I really enjoyed casting 1-on-1 games, it's certainly very, very different from Warcraft, and therefore I was slightly pessimistic, but I'm definitely very curious. So in 2 weeks, we'll know more. What do you think about this? Did you like what you see? Are you enjoying the upgrades? Or are you absolutely not interested anymore? Put it in the comments.